Why become a gardener? In this video I'm going to share some of the meaning I've found in being a gardener and how it's really changed my life. I became a gardener because I saw it as a way I could actively work towards the world I want to see. I could actually actively participate in leaving the world a bit better than how I arrived in it. It's difficult in today's age to feel completely overwhelmed by all of the problems in the world, and that's why for me gardening and practicing permaculture, it gives me an opportunity to do small active solutions towards creating the world I want to see. Even just small things like growing a bit of your own fruit or creating a wildflower meadow. These things support biodiversity and make me feel like I'm spending my time meaningfully. If we all implement small steps towards creating the world we want to see, it can have a huge impact on changing human culture and the landscapes we inhabit, because we need more people actively creating a world where we live in symbiosis with life rather than against it. To me, gardening is an ecological art form. It's an art form where we can implement creativity to come up with imaginative ideas that support biodiversity, create landscapes thriving with life while supporting human needs. And for me, that's really exciting. How can I use my imagination to support life rather than suppress it? One of the beautiful things about choosing horticulture as a career is there's so many different avenues we can take. Do we want to be creative in the landscape and be a designer? Do we want to be active, practically gardening, tending the land? Do we want to move into education or a more computer-based role? Do we want to grow plants in a nursery stock production? There's so many different avenues we can take depending on our skill set, our focus, and how active and physical we want to be. And this can always shift and change as our life develops. And that's, to me, a really beautiful thing about choosing a career in horticulture. Nature connection and being outdoors is a huge benefit to being a gardener. Often taken for granted, but the benefits this provides are really quite significant. I remember when I started spending more time on a computer and I realised what I was missing out on and what I took for granted when I was outdoors every day, seeing the spring wildflowers emerging, watching the fruit ripen and then harvesting it off the trees, or simply seeing the seasons change. These are small things that we might take for granted, but they contribute towards a healthy and holistic lifestyle. For me, having a connection with my food is a huge part of being a gardener, and one of the big reasons why I first became a gardener. Learning about our current industrial food system and all of the problems that brings, and realizing that the food we buy in our shops is kind of a non-food product, all of this ultra processed foods that aren't really food anymore. But not only that, when we grow food in the landscape and we have a direct connection with those plants, it makes us care more about their health and well-being. For example, if you grow up with fond memories of harvesting oranges fresh from the tree in your garden. And then when you're an adult, oranges become threatened. You're going to really care about that. Whereas if you don't have a connection with a wildflower native to your region, and then it becomes extinct in your adult years, because that isn't a part of your story, you're unlikely going to care about its health and well-being. And that's why it's so important to be connected to our food, not only for the health benefits, because this is nutritionally dense, real food, but also to help us care more about the environments around us, the landscapes we inhabit, that ultimately we depend on for our lifeline. Beautiful. The mental health benefits of being a gardener are well documented. Being outdoors, being physical, having that connection with nature, improve our mental health. And I see it in my work. If I don't get out in the garden on a regular basis, and then I go out in the garden, I realise how it helps still my mind. It helps me be present in the moment. Whereas if I don't do gardening for quite some time or practice my meditation, I realise my thoughts can get quite jumbled and hectic. And then I spend the day outdoors in the garden, and it really stills my mind, helping me be present in the moment and enjoy the little things in life. And that's why, for me, gardening is so important for my own mental health, and I know it is for others as well. One of the exciting things about being a gardener and working in the landscape industry is there's always more to learn. And what I find is when I learn something new, it opens my eyes and I see the world differently, and I can see further into just the fascinating world we live in and the intricate connections of ecology that always inspire me and keep me excited about this work. I'll never forget the first time I learnt about hedgerow ecology. And I was on my way home after college, and I was looking at the hedgerows with new eyes. I suddenly could see further into their fascinating and intricate relationships, how the plants gave mammals cover and food, and the mammals lived in these hedgerows. And for me, this opened my eyes to a whole new world. And this is the really beautiful thing about a career or passion in horticulture and ecology, is I find that every time I learn something new, it opens my eyes to a whole new world. It inspires me to go further, and it keeps my mind active and excited about life and the world around me. Something I've come to realise is passion is contagious. And if we are inspired and passionate about what we're doing, and we tell people about this, whether that's about a wildflower or a regenerative growing practice, when we're inspired and we tell these stories, it's contagious and it inspires others. And before we know it, we can create a movement or change culture. And that's what really gives me motivation to share this work, is because I realise that through being inspired, living by example, and telling others about what I'm really excited about, is this can work towards an ecological culture. And just in the last 17 years, whilst I've been really inspired about this work, I've seen a huge change in perception. I remember probably just 5 years ago, when I would tell people about what it is I do, I would often see people glaze over. Whereas now, almost everyone I tell what I do go, wow, that's really interesting. Wow, that's a really important work. And that's how, just in this last few years, I've seen a huge shift. And the more people who get involved in this work, the quicker it gets picked up, and the more people spread the word and inspire others to create an ecological culture, a culture where we live in symbiosis with life rather than degrading the life around us. There we go. There's some of the reasons why I think being a gardener is such a meaningful career, and I think we need more gardeners in the world. People who tend the land and actively work towards creating an ecological culture. If you found this video interesting, give me a follow, a like, and you'll see more. See more from me on ecological gardening methods and horticultural thoughts. Take care and have a lovely day.